Good evening, Frederic.
Good evening. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for joining us. So, Richard, why don't you take on, and then we're going to bring Marius on.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us, Frederic.
Hello.
So, lots of exciting things to talk about in the World Endurance Championship in the near future. But to start with, why don't we talk about this past season? Three different manufacturers winning in Hypercar, 5 different teams, privateer wins. You had 4 different manufacturers winning in LMGT3. First of all, do you feel you've achieved a real level of parity within the series, within the different platforms, within LMDH and Hypercar formulas? And what can WEC do to further enhance that?
Yeah, thank you very much. What can I say? It's a wide question. I think that yes, if we go back to some years ago, it was difficult to imagine that the cohabitation, with the LMH and LMDH would be possible, and we clearly did it. We managed that. Now we have an hypercar category, which is fantastic, with the LMDH and the LMH. And we show to our fans, to everyone, to the OEMs, that it's possible to race in the same category with 2 different platforms. And I think that, to answer to your question, I definitely believe that we achieved that through the BOP, of course, which is important in our championship. This is, I would say, the first very serious achievement.
Excellent. Well, how do you feel about the introduction of the LMGT3 category and its success in the first year? Has it all gone according to plan and expectation?
Yes, definitely. We welcomed 9 different brands, marks, with the most prestigious one. The battle on the grid was absolutely amazing. I was saying, a few weeks ago with John Doonan that we all with IMSA and WEC, we had a kind of dream season. I think that LMGT3 is quite a success at the moment. We have to be careful. It's fragile. We have to take in consideration the situation with the OEMs, especially in Europe. But I think that those brands are a little bit protected because they are super premium. The drivers are fantastic. We can see, through some surveys that the fans are, of course, very interested into the hypercar category, but also the GT. This is really our DNA. This is the DNA of endurance racing, sport car racing. It's a mix between prototype and GT. So I would say that yes, it is a success both on the World Championship, but also on the European Le Mans Series. The demand is quite huge for the GT category, which is good at the moment. But we need to pay attention to the global cost of this category to maintain at certain level, and we need to protect ourselves and the OEMs to let's say the desire to spend more money.
Well, yeah, you use the word fragile. Now, is that in relation to the costs and trying to contain them, or is that in something else?
No, not. Let me be really direct and transparent, if I may. It's not only about the cost; it's also linked to the geopolitical situation, to many different factors. I think that we need to keep our head very, very cold. The FIA WEC is now at very high level. Let's consider that we have done a big part of the job, but we still need to continue to work very, very hard to pay attention to the teams, to drivers, to the business model. That's something which is important. We still have some privateers in the championship, some bronze drivers, who brings some budget on the table to race. So we need to be still close with them. You know, I work in the motorsport industry for the last 25 years. I'm 52 years old, and I have seen that many, many times. You know, you reach a very high level, the success, and then you don't know why. 2 years after, I mean, it's the situation is totally different. So my job is to prepare, let's say, everyone, including my team, not be arrogant, not be pretentious. Let's continue to work. I think now the WEC is probably one of the biggest motorsport championship in the world, and if we continue to be serious, to respect our competitors, I think we can continue to grow.
Excellent. Well, some new manufacturers coming in for 2025 and beyond. Is there anything that you can do to help, one, attract new teams, new manufacturers, but one, keep the ones that maybe haven't found success yet interested?
Yes, it's a very good question. I mean, that, I think that if you want to attract some new manufacturers, I mean, I do believe there is two key points: the regulation, the technical regulation, of course, the sporting regulation, and I mean, what you can offer in terms of marketing platform. I mean, today the return of investment for the OEMs is quite good on the WEC, and we need to maintain that. Then I think that you can still have a good ROI, even if you do not, if you are not on the podium every weekend. If you race close to Ferrari, it means something in terms of marketing. Mm-hmm. So I mean, the diversity we have on the grid brings something to all the OEMs. Of course, as you mentioned at the beginning of our discussion, the gap between all the cars is so tight at the moment. So everybody can expect to be on the podium, but it's not necessary to win to get a good ROI.
Excellent. Well, speaking of return on investment, obviously a big part of that is eyes on the product. Are you happy with WEC's worldwide audience in terms of viewership, especially for the races outside of Le Mans?
Yeah, I mean, you got the point. I mean, our job is to be sure that the audience, except of Le Mans, will be good, and this is the case at the moment. I mean, we are growing on television, on social media, on all the platforms. What we can see today is that the consumption of the image switch from let's say linear TV to digital TV. It's clear. It's clear today. I mean that. So we still focus on television, but we have to take in consideration the fact that the audience, and this is something which is very good for motorsport in general, is younger, and this is something which is super interesting for all of us. I'm used to hear that motorsport is for all people. It's not true. I mean, if you look at the surveys, this is completely wrong. I mean, our audience, the majority of our audience is between 24 to 44 years old, which is quite interesting for the OEMs and for everybody. But we can also see, meanwhile, that the consumption of the WEC image is now, I would say, the balance is maybe something like, I mean, Marius can give you the right figures. He's my marketing communication director, but the consumption is much more on iPad, I mean, telephone, even on smart TV, but still on TV, but on smart TV, on YouTube, and so on. And this is something we need to really follow. I mean, this is something important.
What do you think is driving that younger audience? Is it the platform that you're broadcasting it on? Is it the manufacturers? Is it just the quality of racing? And perhaps that's a question for Mario. I don't know.
No, it's a super interesting question. I would say that
we have
sorry.
No, we have the best diversity of cars, of engine sounds, with a lot of action on tracks. For example, it is a figure we don't talk about a lot, but during Le Mans, you have 12,000 overtakes during
Connection is not good, Marius.
Yeah.
Are you here? Sorry. No, I just received another call and it cuts. First, we think that the product is interesting because there is a lot of variety, but also because we work hard to provide content that fits youngest audience. And Fred especially talks about YouTube, but we have a very, very strong strategy on YouTube. We have had more than 60 million views this year. We publish a lot of videos, but we work with a special agency to help the content to fit the trends, but also to have the best cameramans and producer. And we think that embracing the way the algorithm on this platform works help us to grow. And as TV is growing but slowly, we see a very, very fast growth on socials. And one figure that is very interesting for us is that when you are on YouTube, you can watch images because they are proposed to you. But in 2 years, we more than doubled the number of subscribers of our channels, meaning people are engaged and want to come back. So in 2 years, we doubled and the figures are increasing. So this is a good reason to believe that our content for our YouTube panel, which is 55% under 34 years old, likes our content. That is different from TV.
Excellent. Well, I know that's certainly been a point of pursuit for motorsports in general, and is the social media channels.
And let me add, sorry to interrupt you, but let me add something very basic, simple. We bring some passion. It's something which is very, very simple. I mean that we do live in a world with you cannot drive fast. I mean, people need to dreams. They need some dreams, and we deliver that.
Now, is that dreams among the audience? Is that dreams among the manufacturers? Is that
Yeah. What has
absolutely.
Yes, what has changed in 5 years is not the number of drivers or cars or races. It is just the manufacturers, and it creates a dynamic where we then are able to export the spirit of Le Mans around the world. And Le Mans is not only a race; it's not only the biggest race in the world, but it's also automotive fair. It is. I mean, you can come with your family, and there is advertising and entertainment for everyone. So the manufacturers helps us to shine, and then we propose such an experience that helps to drive everything.
How much of growth did you see, for example, obviously with the LMGT3 category, you had a pretty big explosion in the number of manufacturers involved, especially from the end of GTE. How big a driver was that for new audience to have twice as many manufacturers? And I mean, you had 4 manufacturers win in 2024, which is more manufacturers than you had the year prior in GT.
Richard, let me step in 1 second because Frederic had a last-minute emergency to deal with, and so we want to accommodate him. So
thank you very much, Francisco.
Of course, my pleasure. I will step in. We'll continue the interview with Marius, but Frederic was kind enough to did everything he could to allow us 15 minutes. So Frederic, if you need to go, we understand, and we'll continue the interview with Marius.
Yeah, very, very sorry. Always a pleasure to be with all of you, and thank you very much once again. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Glad you could join us.
So Marius, carry on, and we'll continue.
So your question was about LMGT3, right?
Well, and
Can you repeat, please?
Yes, how with the introduction of LMGT3, you've had a big explosion in the number of manufacturers involved in WEC, especially on the GT side. How big a driver was that for new audience?
Actually, I will be completely frank. We can't really measure it because it is not it is not yet part of our surveys or to understand better. But what we think is that hypercar category is fascinating because it is car that no one can drive except the pro drivers, because it is very good, very fast cars. But GT3 helps us to, and the brands also takes this opportunity to create a link between their cars and the market and how the people can buy the cars. So even if not everyone can buy a Ferrari, there is other brands like Lexus, like Mercedes, like even others that are more used to being bought or seeable in the streets. So for us, GT3 is very important because it creates a link between a fascinating world and the real world where you can see this car in your streets. So we can measure it for the moment, but for sure we will never have a 40 cars of hypercar in the same category, because we need GT3 to create this special environment of overtakes and different speed, but also to help the brands to create a story around marketing and communication of their brand. And what we see is an explosion of the investment in the activation of the brands. Like this year we were 300% more than last year in terms of fan zone activation, in terms of hospitality and stuff like that.
You can hear me, but it looks like your connection's a little spotty.
You don't hear me right now?
I do now.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry.
That could be me.
So yes, we see. So the manufacturers understand that it's not only about performance and a very special car, but once again create a link. And I think the audience is very appreciate this.
Excellent. Well, new manufacturer in hypercar next year. Aside from Aston Martin and Mercedes-AMG coming into GT3, what's most exciting you about 2025?
I think so we are very happy to welcome such a big brand like Mercedes-AMG, because and we saw it in our socials when we announced it. It was a big event for us. What is exciting for 25, and I think many people in the room here understand why, but first, it may be the sound of the new Aston Martin Valkyrie on the track, because it will be a very singular sound. And for motorsport fan, it's amazing to see all these different brand engines and sounds at the same place. So, and of course, all these brands and the new brands have a relationship with Le Mans. Aston Martin too, Mercedes too, and it's not always a very nice story. So for us, what is exciting is seeing history playing again, and at the same time, several periods of history reunited for the world title. And this world title, alongside Le Mans, is gaining more and more weight. And I am currently now in Dubai for Genesis endurance program. Announcement, it was 1 hour ago, and what we heard what we heard from the team principal or the drivers like André Lotterer is like the World Championship has never been such exciting, even for a guy like him winning already 4 or 5 times Le Mans.
Well, obviously, the Genesis announcement was going to be a point of discussion today, being
Okay.
on our minds. The one thing that Frederic said was that you don't necessarily have to win, but if you're racing next to Ferrari, that's something you can talk about. And certainly I think for that's appealing to a company like Hyundai and Genesis. But also I think the fact that we have rule stability through 2029 probably plays a huge part as well. And there's even some manufacturers talking about coming in 27.
Yes.
How important is that to the championship and to WEC success? Is the stability of rules and schedule?
Yes, of course. And through the rules, there is something that I don't say its name. It's cost. How would you say, cost cap. And what helps us is that all the brands are coming because they know how it will cost. They know that it's only 8 races. It won't be something that will bring the team or several team on 24 races like Formula One with other budget, of course. So what helps us for sure are the costs, are the rules and the visibility for 5 years now, maybe more. We don't know, but for the moment it's 5 years. And also the fact that the BOP, a subject often discussed for core fans, it is also a reason to come. It's a good reason to criticize, but it's also one of the reasons they come because they all have more chance to win. It's not only about money; it's also about driving and how to manage your car and your tires during such long races. And at the end, everyone is winning because we have had, I think, 6 different winners out of 8 races. We have had 3 races with 7 different brands in the 7 first places of the race, and also, sorry, I forgot my words, but yes, that's it. Sorry.
It's okay. Right. So yeah, we before you came on, we were discussing the parity and the level that WEC has achieved. But also, this next year's schedule is very similar to this year's schedule, which probably plays a part in stability. We've actually got a question from, obviously, a lot of people watching this are in the US, and of course there are round of at Lone Star Le Mans at COTA. So we have a question from a viewer who says, how successful do you consider this year's race at COTA, and is there anything you'd like to change for that race in the future?
Yes. So COTA was a surprise for us in a good sense because there was some reason to believe we won't have a lot of people coming. First, because it was very hot in Texas at this period. It's not the best time of the year to do motorsport and to be sitting in the grandstands. Second, because it was a Labor Day during this weekend, so we were a bit afraid, but we didn't have a choice the year before to choose this date. So with all these issues, we were very happy because we had the grandstands with a decent amount of people in a country we didn't visit it for a long time. So we know that it takes a few years, maybe not 10, but maybe 2 or 3, to implement an event and be sure the people that enjoy the race will come back. We consider that it was a great race for us because we had very good returns from people. Especially VIP peoples also going to Formula One, saying that the experience is very different. There is and we want to keep it, but the cars and the drivers are very close to the people with autograph session, mandatory for drivers. The garage tour are more easy to do. The paddock is more accessible. So even for VIPs, and I'm talking of big VIPs, the experience is very special and we want to keep it, especially in the US. Where there is a lot of motorsport fan, and we see that the US is always in our top 3 on every races in terms of audience. So yeah, COTA was good. We want to do more. It is a huge place. COTA is a huge place, so we have to work hard in terms of branding because it's a very, very big track for us. But yes, we were happy, and we will be happy to come back next year with another date. So without Labor Day, it could help.
Well, with having been to other sports car races at COTA, I was impressed with the size of the crowd and with marketing activation, within Austin. That was
thank you.
That was good to see. Also equally surprised to hear you say that US is always in the top 3 in your audience. So that's
not for all races, but in Le Mans, it's. I mean, when I present the 5 countries following us in socials or on TV, US is in the top 5. So it depends on the race, but yes, I mean, it's a big country first, and there is also a lot of motorsport fans.
Well, Francis and Duty have joined us again, which means our time is up. So
thank you.
Your perseverance through the connection and from Abu Dhabi. So thank you very much.
And I am sorry for the 2 minutes delay because I am on my phone in the middle of Dubai. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, Marius. And we understood that there was an issue with Fred, so we're able to get the first 15 minutes with Fred, and now you guys doing a great job. And I really enjoy your comments about how much you have developed your YouTube channels, etc. I mean, when we launched Race Industry Week, the first year we were only on Zoom, and then year after year we have starting to stream on YouTube, on Racer.com, on Speedsport.com, on all social, and the audience has grown tremendously. And this year we're also on TV with Speedsport 1, and it's about finding new avenues and new tools that help you reach a much wider audience. And you guys have done a beautiful job at WEC. So thank you, Marius, for being with us today. Send my best to Fred and the entire team at WEC, and maybe I'll see you in France at Christmas. So thank you very much, and stay with us.
Thank you.
EPARTRADE is a digital platform that we've created basically to make life easier in the business community of auto racing.
EPARTRADE, there is no e-commerce. It's literally a connection just like at a trade show. So now, any time of the year, a buyer could reach out to a supplier.
When you see a product that you're interested in, all you need to do is click on request more information, and then from there it is forwarded directly to the buyer or to the supplier.
EPARTRADE really eliminates having to travel, closing down your shop. Now you have a place to showcase globally your racing product and technology.
Looking for a quick fix of motorsports news? The Speed Sport Daily is what you need. It's a free racing newsletter delivered directly to your email every day. We'll cover the winners and the losers and tell you who's making news off the track. It's NASCAR, NHRA, World of Outlaw, IndyCar, and so much more. Go to speedsport.com today and get signed up for America's free racing newsletter and get your daily motorsports fix. The Speed Sport Daily.
Land speed record holder George Poteet's Speed Demon rocketed 481 miles per hour at the Bonneville Salt Flats. You don't go that fast without ARP fasteners.
There is no way that we could go the speed that we've gone, the number of times we've gone, with a lesser quality bolt than ARP supplies to us. And we absolutely wouldn't be where we were today if it weren't for ARP.
When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com.
We're Performance Plus Global Logistics. Our team of dedicated performance industry and logistics experts get valuable cars and components to the track on time in top condition. We provide expedited logistics solutions for the performance industry using direct routes instead of deferred options, and communicate all necessary information to the appropriate resources to meet regulations and ensure a smooth transit and secure delivery, both domestically and internationally. And we exceed customer expectations by providing best-in-class service with an efficient and cost-effective system in place. Contact us today to book your next shipment.
Scott Lewis & Associates, the sales, marketing, and branding specialist for the automotive performance industry since 1988. We get our manufacturers on track by opening an extensive distribution network, providing product training to sales staff, creating fully integrated sales and marketing strategies, building successful industry partnerships, attending trade shows, events, and races, offering first-class support to customers. SLAI delivers solutions that win you sales. To get in touch with an SLAI representative, call 516-378-6100. Go to scottlewisinc.com or email info@scottlewisinc.com.
With roots in the Midwest that date back well before the Model T, Fifth Third Bank has a long history of serving the needs of automotive companies. While much has changed over the years, our passion for helping businesses put cars on the road and on the track has not. Today, we are more committed than ever as a member of SEMA, a founding member of PRI, and a sponsor of multiple race teams across several racing series.
For over a decade, Fifth Third Bank has been a staunch supporter of our industry and a great partner for many companies in the motorsports field.
Our business has been growing extremely fast, and really we could not be where we are today without Fifth Third. They provided amazing strategic advice, the capital we need to support our phases of growth.
They are true partners for me now, and what they do with their involvement in motorsports is untouched in this community.
Where can we take your business? Fifth Third Bank.
You work as hard as your truck, and you have no time for downtime. That's why more truck owners trust Blue Def, America's #1 diesel exhaust fluid brand. Each batch is guaranteed pure, so you can avoid costly repairs caused by inferior DEF. Demand America's best for your truck. Blue Def and Blue Def Platinum. Put trust in your truck.
When it comes to pushing the limits of performance, the pros know there's no room for compromise. At Crowder Cams, we don't just engineer camshafts and valve train components, we redefine what power means. Since 1955, Crowder Cams has been the name trusted by racers, engine builders, and gearheads around the globe. Whether you're building a street machine, a dragster, or a track car, Crowder Cams provides the muscle you need to dominate. And with Crowder, victory is within your reach.
For over 25 years, Wisconsin-based C-Tech Manufacturing has been engineering and manufacturing the toughest, most accessible aluminum tool drawers, cabinets, carts, and tactical storage solutions for America's hardest working professionals. Whatever you need to store and however you need to store it, put your trust in C-Tech Manufacturing. We build it better. Visit our new website at ctechmanufacturing.com or give us a call at 715-355-8842.
If you're watching this video, you might be wondering, What is WPC? WPC is a surface treatment designed to reduce friction and increase the strength of metal parts. As much as it might seem like a coating, WPC is actually a surface treatment. Think of it like shot painting, but the media is much finer, like talc. So what you're left with is a super hard, smooth surface that actually has some proprietary dry lubricants embedded within it. For more information, visit WPCtreatment.com.